Cozy Garden Story Time. Cozy Garden Story Time. Everybody!
Cozy Garden Story Time. Cozy Garden Story Time.
Hi everyone! Welcome to Cozy Garden Story Time. And today we're going to read a bit of a spooky story. I have some nice delicious hot chocolate here. But if we're going to read a spooky story, we should probably have a spooky setting to read it in. Let's see. Oh my goodness. We are in a magical, spooky land, and I cannot wait to read a spooky story here. Okay, so you ready, everyone? Today's story is Garfield's Scary Tales. And there are 3 stories in this book, and I'm going to be reading the very first one. Now we've got this spooky house behind us. We've got this magical forest. Oh, it's the perfect setting to read a spooky story. So grab some nice hot chocolate, get cozy, open your ears, and listen carefully. Here we are, boys, said John to Garfield and Odie as he drove the car up a gravel driveway. Ooh, I can almost hear the car driving up the gravel right now. Garfield opened his eyes. At the end of the drive stood a 2-story building of dark, rough stone. A sign out front read, "Wary Inn, established 1837. This place is supposed to have lots of atmosphere, said John.
That means lumpy old beds and outside bathrooms,
grumbled Garfield. A bearded man came out to greet them. Welcome. I'm Peter Wary. My great-great-great-grandfather built this inn.
By any chance did he build a burger world out back?
Asked Garfield.
I'm hungry.
You'll be staying one night, Mr. Arbuckle? Right, replied John. We're just driving through. You do allow pets, don't you? Oh, yes, said Mr. Wary. I have a cat of my own, but we recommend that you keep your pets in the room, especially on a night like tonight. There's going to be a full moon. We've had a few problems during the full moon. It's really nothing to worry about, just that a few pets have met with some rather nasty accidents. Like what? Asked John. Let's just say that your cat might make a tempting treat for something out there.
That's it, we're out of here,
said Garfield. John had to pry Garfield's paws off the dashboard, but he finally got the cat out of the car and into their room. Stop being such a scaredy cat, said John. There isn't a motel for 100 miles. We'll just have to stay here tonight.
Okay, replied Garfield, but if I get eaten, I'm going to be very grumpy in the morning.
After they had finished dinner, Garfield cautiously poked his way around the old inn. In the parlor, he discovered another cat perched on a windowsill. The cat wore a leather collar with a gold nameplate that said Beezle. Oh, he met a cat named Beezle.
If you're thinking about going out, I wouldn't, said Garfield.
Then you've heard about it, said Beezle.
Heard about what?
Ooh, pretty frightening, said Garfield.
When you've lived here as long as I have, you get used to it. Still, I'm never quite myself when there's a full moon.
You live here?
Said Garfield.
Then you must know all about this thing. What is it?
No one knows for sure, replied Beezle.
Maybe it's just a figment of the imagination.
Would a figment eat a bulldog?
Oh my goodness, whatever is out there ate a bulldog? I'd pee my pants right there. I'd pee my pants. I'd be so scared. Let's keep reading. Garfield gulped.
Nice talking to you, Beezle, he said. I'm going up to bed.
Beezle gave a half smile, then turned his head to stare at the rising moon. That night, John and Odie slept soundly, but Garfield lay in the bed wide awake. The longer he lay awake, the hungrier he got.
I don't care how hungry you get.
Garfield said to his tummy.
No way am I getting out of this bed.
But in the end, Garfield's appetite was stronger than his fear.
I'll just grab some food from the kitchen and race right back here,
Garfield decided. He slipped off the bed and out the door. Oh, be careful, Garfield. There's something out there. Carefully checking everything in front of him and behind him, Garfield padded quickly down the hall. The old house, which had been creaking all night, seemed suddenly still.
Almost there,
Garfield told himself. Crossing the parlor, he saw the empty windowsill where Beazle had been sitting. The memory of their conversation made Garfield shiver. Bong! Oh! With a shriek, Garfield leapt onto the parlor chandelier. But the noise was only the old grandfather clock chiming midnight. So wait a second. Garfield is walking around this creepy old inn, and there's weird stuff happening. There are weird noises. I would have been terrified.
I'll get you for that, Grandpa,
Garfield said to the clock. At last, he reached the kitchen, and he yanked open the refrigerator door. Yellow light spilled across the floor, throwing huge shadows on the wall. On the top shelf was a banana cream pie.
This will do,
said Garfield, snatching up the pie.
I hate to eat and run, so I'll run first, then eat.
As he turned, Garfield suddenly saw 2 burning red eyes staring at him from the shadows.
Oh my goodness.
Above the eyes, 2 long, pointed ears twitched excitedly. Garfield's hair stood on end. With an evil hiss, the shadowy thing moved toward him. Garfield caught a glimpse of glistening teeth and long, jagged claws. A bit of gold gleamed at its neck. Bit of gold. Oh well. Garfield tried to scream, but his scream died of fright before it ever left his throat. He could think of only one thing to do. With all the strength he could summon, he hurled the banana cream pie at the thing. The monster recoiled in surprise, and Garfield dashed past it, running faster than he had ever run. He slammed the door and dove into the bed, knocking John and Odie off the other side. Next morning, Mr. Weary asked John,
"Have a good sleep?"
My cat went crazy, but that's not unusual, replied John.
"Something made a banana cream mess in our kitchen," said Mr. Weary. "Maybe the monster stopped by for dessert."
Yeah, like a slice of Garfield,
said Garfield. Garfield couldn't wait for John to pack the car. He honked the horn impatiently. Finally, John climbed behind the wheel and started the engine. The car moved down the drive. The last thing Garfield saw was Beazle, staring hungrily at him from the parlor window, the sunlight twinkling on the little golden nameplate at his neck. Okay, let me... Let me get this straight. When Garfield was walking around the inn the night that they first arrived, he met a friendly cat named Beazle just sitting on the windowsill. That was the monster. Beazle turns into a monster when there's a full moon. Wow. I would have been super scared. Now it's time for bed, and get cozy, and have beautiful, sweet dreams. And don't forget to be brave. It's just a story. What was that? Anything in the forest? Anything amongst the trees? Coming out of the water? What about the house? Is anyone coming out of there? Do you see anybody looking out the window? Okay, it's fine.
Cozy garden story time. Cozy garden story